Hello, in this session we're going to look at creating contracts. To create contracts, first go to relationships and then go to contracts. If this is the first time you've used the system, then go to the question mark here and that will display help for contracts. Let's describe some of the key features around contracts. It gives you a getting started guide, giving you the main commonly used features you use when you're doing contracts, and directs you to go and look at the contract prices and training guide and complete that before you go and do any work on contracts. So let's look at the training guide. The training guide starts by giving you some information about assumed knowledge and then walks you through the key features and then starts going one at a time through each step involved with contracts. The first one is creating a new contract. That's what we're going to look at in this session. We're going to have a talk about sending contracts to web and how you have to consider these properties contracts have. Only certain properties of contracts allow upload of those contracts to your web store. We're going to have a look at creating contracts for a customer and an individual product. We're going to look at creating a contract for freight using the optional freight charge option. We're going to look at creating a contract for a customer and a product category, and creating a contract for all customers and all products. And then we're briefly going to have a look at how we'd go about importing contracts in if you had a lot of contracts. We'll look at creating a contract for a machine, adding a machine to a contract, and we'll also look at adding a pre-ordered product to a contract. So let's start by looking at creating a new contract. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to go to contracts and click on the new button. As the training guide says, the next thing to do is go and enter a name and a description for the contract. Now the name and the description should indicate what this contract is used for. Normally you do things like set up gold, silver and bronze contracts. The gold contract might be your best deal, silver medium, bronze the lower deal, and they would be the backbone of your contracting system. And then you go and do individual contracts for exceptions for customers that want just a change to the normal deal for particular contracts. So we're going to start by looking through what all of the options are on contracts. So the first tab is the products tab. The products tab allows you to say that this contract applies to all products. If you tick that, the contract will be for all products. It allows you to have a contract for a category. So if I were to click new here and put a category in, then I can do a contract for every product in a category. So let's pick the category. Now how far I go into the category tree determines how wide a scope that contract has. I won't save that at this point because I want to go and do individual products as well. So if you click on the individual products and you do new, you can put a individual product onto a contract, and this contract line will only apply specifically just to the contract that I'm asking about. They're the main product options: all products, category, or individual products. Now once you at each of these levels you have to select which contract type you're going to use. So the contract types determine what the contract will do, and the value and the other parameters also affect the way that's performed. So if we were to select discount from sell percentage and we were to put a value in, this value will be the discount from sell percentage. So 10% will be a discount of 10% on the sell price. You also, if I were to select discount from sell value, then this is going to be a value $10. If I were to select GP from cost price 1, then this value is going to be the GP percent based on the cost price 1, the standard cost from your preferred supplier. So if I said something like 50, then we're going to have 50% GP on your standard cost. That's the cost markup rule you use for customers. If you have staff, so you want to give staff 10% on cost, you'd use the GP from cost FIFO for staff. The reason being that this ensures that whatever the original cost of the receipt that gets used up by that sale, then the actual GP is exactly 10%. So if the standard cost has moved over time and the product's got more expensive, you still want the staff to just get exactly 10%. You can't use this approach for customers because the sell price and the order will change when you finalize it. So if you quote a customer or you put an order in and it says $10, and if the cost goes up, this approach will actually charge the customer more than $10 because it'll adjust the GP around what the cost is on the most current receipt. So for staff though, this is the most appropriate. You also can do markup from cost, so that 50% GP would be 100% markup. So if you're more comfortable with markup, you can use that contract type. A match competitor, if you select match competitor, you don't need a value. All it does is just scan the competitor prices that have been fed into your system and make sure that this product at least matches the competitor prices. Price level will force a price level. So if you use price level, then you've got to go and specify the price level to be used. So I'm going to say for this product, use the government price level, don't use the default list price level. Product disabled, we use that if a product's not available. So if, for example, a customer says we won't take generic toners, we only want originals, then we can use product disabled on the category of generic toners and stop those products to be sold to any customers on this contract. Quantity minimum optional is what we use for freight. So we do something like a product of freight, quantity of 1, charge of $25, and you want to have at least 1 on there. A quantity minimum required will mean that, for example, let's put 1 in, that becomes a quantity. This product, you must always have at least 1 of them on a sale. You'd normally use that with something like freight. And like that, outward freight. So every time we do outward freight, and what you do is on the freight product, you'd put the price. If you had multiple freight rates, freight charges, you'd make a different product for each charge, and you'd require that to be on sales in the appropriate situation, depending on which freight charge you want to give to those customers. And then we have replace. That means whenever anyone buys a product, always replace it with something else. So you may have a customer who keeps on buying the outmoded version of a product. You can say replace that, we don't use this product anymore, and if you do replace, then you've got to specify which product is going to be replaced with. So I'm saying here that this Victory Ruler exercise book is not going to get used anymore. We're going to use something else. We'll use the Victory dotted book, and what will happen then is every time anyone in this contract buys this product, they'll get that one instead. The next option you have is specific X or specific Inc. What specific X does is it specifies a specific price. So sell this product at $20 X. If you want to do a specific price Inc, select specific Inc. And they're all the modes you have available, your contract price types available. So let's look at how we'd use those in other situations. If, for example, we wanted to do a category, and on that category give the customer a discount, we go to categories, specify the category. I'm going to go and pick anything at all from Office Brands, and we're going to say give them a discount, and the discount will be 10%. That's how you do a category discount. If you wanted to do a contract that applies to every product, you click the All Products button, and here I'm going to do again discount rule, 10% discount on all products. The min quantity and max quantity apply to this rule, so they'd have to buy at least a certain quantity. You can use that on categories as well as on individual products. So once you've used products, categories or individual products to set up your contract price, you then go to cards and specify which customers get the contract, or machines and specify which machines. So if you're doing this for customers, you can say all customers, in which case every customer will get the contract, or suppliers, in which case every supplier will get the contract, or you can go and add particular customers. So I'm going to add a particular customer this time. Now you can specify start and end date, so the contract defaults from starting today and going forever. What we could say is this customer only gets this contract for a period of time. So if this was an introductory deal, for example, we could say the customer gets the introductory product deal for contracts for the first 30 days. Then they'll drop off that. Now if you specified a customer, you can't put a machine on the contract. So if you're doing a machine for a contract for service work, don't put any customers on it. Go over to machines, click on new, and the process is the same as adding customers, just specify which machines go onto this contract. If you wanted the contract to apply to sites, you go over to sites and specify the site. By default it's all sites. There's a file attachment tab, so if you were creating a contract and you used a spreadsheet, etc., you can go and attach that spreadsheet or those emails, whatever, to this contract for reference in future. You can add some notes to the contract describing the process of setting it, the things you want to do about it, and there are some settings about combining quantities. So if you did a contract for, say, diaries, if they buy any 3 diaries, they get a discount of 10% off all of them. You can set the min combined quantity, for example, to 3, and that way the discount percents or whatever the other rules are that are on this contract will only apply if they have a combined quantity of 3. You can do also combined value, buy at least $100, get 10% off, and you can specify whether that threshold value is Inc or X discount, Inc or X tax, and you can also specify whether you allow manual discounts. So you can do a contract to say give people 20% off these products that we're getting out of range, but don't let the operator give them any additional discount as well. Just the contract discount is the only discount you can get. So we'll go and just create one rule, like for one category, for example. Let's do that, and then we'll just save our contract. Discount, for example, is the most common thing. Let's say 10% discount. We're going to save and close. So we've got a category on it. We're going to put a customer on it, just to finish off this process of creating a new contract. Pick a customer, save it, and there we have a category and a customer. That's all we need. So we're going to save, and now our contract is saved. Now our contract is currently inactive, so it will do nothing. In order to make it start working, you can adjust your contract because it's open, we're just working on it. Once you're happy with your contract, you save it from you change it from inactive to active. So let's do that. Active. Once I make my contract active, then I have to create new versions if I want to change it, and that'll be covered in a separate video because we're focusing on new ones. And there's my new contract there. I can have a look at it. I can add new customers to it, or if they had machines, I could add new machines to it without making a new version. But if I want to change the products or any other things about the contract, I have to go and click new version, close this version of the contract, and make a fresh version. The reason we do that is we want to keep an audit trail of the changes we've made to the contract over time. So I hope that helps you getting started with creating contracts, make sure you do this training guide material before you start work, and after that get a training session from ReadySell if you still have any questions. Thank you.